Welcome back, students who are taking financial accounting, and in this series of videos we are working on the Chapter 5 assigned homework problems from the digital study guide, the problems for Group B. And note, accounting is about understanding the concepts and then applying that understanding to the situation at hand. If you get the application aspect wrong, that is one thing and is easily remedied by watching someone else work the problem. However, if you don't understand the concepts, that is a whole other thing. Watching a problem worked out will not help you if you don't understand the underlying concepts. Go back and study the text material again and watch the theory videos. If you still do not understand the concepts, then either email or telephone an instructor to get help with that understanding. And so we left off on problem 53, so we're now working on 54. And let me get my pen. All right, here we go. So it says, Inland Empire Supply lost an entire inventory in a hurricane that occurred on July 31st, 2014. Over the past 5 years, gross profit has averaged 39% of net sales. So what immediately popped into my head here is that we don't know how much the gross profit is, but it's 39% of net sales. Now remember, net sales can go up and go down each and every year, and so can our gross profit. But the average has been 39% of whatever our net sales was. So I just keep that in the back of my head. The company's records reveal the following data for the month of July. All right, so this is the data. And it says estimate the July 31st inventory using the gross profit method. Okay, so let's see here. How am I going to do this? I will go to a new slide here. Okay, so use the information from your textbook. Obviously, I'm on a blank slide here, and I'm going to be bouncing back and forth a little bit. All right, so using the gross profit method, we start out with the beginning inventory, and that was 43,400. So that's 43,400. And then we have to add in our purchases, our net purchases, which our net purchases was 287,300. Okay, which would give us our cost of goods available for sale. Which adding those up gives us, let's see here, 0, 0, 7, 10, 12, 3, 330,700. Okay, and just as an FYI, you're being told, what your net purchases are, the 287, 3,000. I mean, notice that for sales here, you're being told, you're given sales return on allowances, and sales discounts. Well, you use those three in order to be able to figure out what your net sales are. Okay. Well, it's the same thing with our net purchases. You could have been given as part of the data purchases, purchase returns and allowances, and purchase discounts. Okay, so if you understand what net purchases are or net sales, it doesn't matter. If you understand the concept of net, it doesn't matter how the information is being given to you. You can work with it. In this case here, we're being, it looks like we're going to have to work with, with it both ways, where we're given our net purchases, but for our sales, we're going to actually have to calculate our net sales. So, this is our cost of goods available for sale. And now we have to estimate our cost of goods sold, right? And we do that by taking our net sales, okay? So this is where the sales less our sales returns and allowances, and our sales discount comes into play. Okay, so we have 448,400, 81,500, and 5,900. So we have 448,000. I'm sorry, 488,000. Sorry, 400 less our 81,500 for our returns and allowances, less, oops, I shouldn't write that there because this is already less, less 5,900. And that gives me a net sale. Net sales of 401,000 when I add those up. 99, oops, nope, I don't. I subtract 81,500 and 5,900 from the 488,400, which gives me an even 401,000. Okay, for my net sales. All right, now we're estimating our cost of goods sold. Remember, our cost of goods sold is 39% of our net sales, right? So our estimated gross profit is, which is 39% of net sales, is 401,000 times 39%, which gives me 156,390. Okay, so that gives me my estimated cost of goods sold, which is 244,610. Remember, this is an this is an estimated cost of goods sold simply because we have an estimated gross profit of 39%. We don't know it, we don't know what it is exactly. It's only an estimate. All right, so that's why we're always using estimated cost of goods sold. If we had a hard figure, meaning if we knew that exactly what our cost of our gross profit was, then we would just say cost of goods sold. We wouldn't use the word estimate, okay? But because we're estimating our gross profit, we end up with an estimated cost of goods sold. And also notice that I used multiple columns here, okay? That cost of goods sold, we're sitting here trying to figure out our ending inventory, okay? So we're taking our goods available for sales less our cost of goods sold, which gives us our estimated ending inventory. Which is this 330,700 less the 244,610. It gives me $86,090. Okay. You pay attention to the format when you're doing this. As we had our normal calculation, if we knew what our estimated cost of goods sold was without having to do this calculation, we could have just done this in one column. But because we had to actually calculate out our estimated cost of goods sold, we had to bump the figures over, one column to the right. So when we do the math, we can get the 244,610. Don't do everything in just one column, okay? When you have those math figures, always go one column to the left and put the sum, whatever it is, the product or whatever, the one column to the right. Okay, so that's our estimated ending inventory. Now the problem also said prepare the July income statement through gross profit. All right, so this is going to be relatively quick. I don't have to be, by now you should know how to create an income statement, okay? So Inland Empire, this is the name of the business, income statement. The important thing here is to actually write this word partial in the heading, right? Because it is a partial on the statement since we're only going through gross profit. And so this is month end ending 7/31. Write out the date the right way. Okay, but I'm just showing this as a heading because I don't want to spend a lot of time. Right, so for our income statement, we have our sales, which was 488,400, and then of course we have less sales return on allowance and sales discount, and those are 81,500 and 5,900. Notice that we're adding those two together, okay, to give us our 87,400 in order to be able to give us our net sales, which is the $401,000 that we had calculated from the previous calculation. And notice the way the columns are working here, okay? Because I have to take my sales less my returns and allowance and my discounts, I'm putting that in this column because this is the total of the returns and allowance and the discount, and because I have to add those two together in order to get that number, I bumped over one column to the left, right? And since I'm doing this mathematical calculation in this column here in order to get my net sales, I had moved over one column to the left. So the final thing that I need to do is I want to know what my net sales are. Well, I have to take my sales less the total of my returns and allowances and discounts, so that's why I moved one column to the left. But in order to get the total of the returns and allowances and discount, I still had to move even one more column over to the left. In practicality, after you've done this for a bit, you'll know to actually be moving over one or two columns. But a lot of times, I'll actually start working through the problem, through the income statement, and I'll realize that I'll need an additional column. So I'm going to end up having to rework the income statement, creating the additional column. So I might have 2 or 3 iterations of my work until I get it absolutely correct. Okay, so once we have our net sales, we have to take out our cost of goods sold, which we had calculated to be 244,610, and then that gives us our gross profit of 156,390. Okay, and of course, make sure you put in the dollar signs and the underlines and the double underlines where necessary. Okay, so that's it for that problem, and we only have one more left for this chapter, so I'll see you in the next video for that.